دلیل باورنکردنی شکست هادی چوپان در مقابل سمسون داودا از نظر داور مسترالمپیا همه رو غافلگیر کرد. سلام به همه همراهان عزیز کانال. تایلر منیون نایب رئیس لیگ حرفه‌ای بدنسازی در یک مصاحبه ویدیویی دلیل برتری سمسون داودا در مقابل هادی چوپان رو در فیگورهاشون مشخص کرد که این داوری عجیب سوژه رسانه‌های بدنسازی خارجی شده و من در این ویدیو این صحبت‌ها رو براتون پخش و ترجمه کردم. پس بریم سراغ شروع ویدیو بدون معطلی. فقط قبل از اینکه ویدیو اصلی رو براتون پخش کنم، برای دیدن جدیدترین اخبار بدنسازی کانال ما رو سابسکرایب کنید. اول بریم صحبت‌های عجیب تایلر رو با هم ببینیم و در آخر ویدیو براتون صحبت می‌کنم.
So first up is the front double bicep pose. Samson and Hadi both have very, very strong front double bicep poses. For me, Samson's front double has improved show to show and year over year. His arms have come up considerably, both the biceps and the triceps. His whole inner arm is very good now, in my opinion. As you see, he has nice V taper going into a nice small waist. His waist control and ab control was very good at this show. Then you move into the lower body, and Samson obviously has some of the best legs and the best quads in the open division. Very good overall balance with this pose. The one thing I always said about Samson in this pose is, yes, could his lats be a little bit more dramatic? Could you have a little bit more of a taper? Yes, but I think that's increased dramatically. Now for Hadi also has a very good front double bicep, solid arms into a very pronounced V taper into a nice small waist. And then Hadi always has great legs from the front that are very conditioned. However, for me at this show, I feel like his legs overall, not just in this pose, but overall, were a little bit downsized. And even though the top to bottom is very good, I still think being downsized throws off that perfect balance just a little bit for him. And for that reason, even though Hadi's taper is a little bit more dramatic, I think the overall balance of the pose, all the body parts flowing together, for me, I give it to Samson to make it 1-0. Next up is the side chest pose. So when we look at Hadi, again, his weaknesses, I would say, if he has one, is he needed more size to his legs from the side. Even at his best, which in my opinion was the Arnold Classic this year, the Arnold Classic US, you could still see he could still use a little bit more of that thickness to the side leg. So here the legs were down a little bit, and even really his overall conditioning, which is Hadi's trademark, is the striations through his chest and obviously the very, very detailed midsection. For me, we saw that Hadi's chest was not as detailed this time around, both on Friday and on Saturday. He just was lacking that trademark skinless striation chest, and he needs that because his chest is on the flatter side. Now, again, shoulders and arms were solid. The whole pose is still a very solid pose, but he was going up against an all-time best Samson. It's not the front lat spread, it's the side chest for Samson's strongest pose. Arms and shoulders, very full, very big, very round. Chest, extremely full. Also seeing detail and striation through it. Midsection, flat and in check. Side leg, very dramatic. Quad to hamstring balance. Hamstring drop. We see the lines in it. We see the separation. This pose shows off the overall muscularity of Samson and really is a pose where I think you see the massive size difference between these two competitors. So for me, another clear pose for Samson to make this 3 poses to 0. Next up is the back double bicep pose. And surprisingly, Samson brought this pose up a lot. You see from the back, he has crazy hamstrings. They were separated. They were detailed. Samson's probably someone that's never going to get crazy separated glutes, but you still see the condition that he was in, even with the glutes here. The back of his arms and shoulders improved a lot. We see the bicep peak. We see all the detail and separation in his arms. His shoulders are the best they ever looked. Moving into, which was once his weakest body part, his back, he improved the taper and dramatically improved the depth and thickness of his back. So again, top to bottom balance, very, very good for him. Now here for Hadi, I think this is where we saw that it wasn't Hadi in his normal self, because normally his back double bicep is very strong. It was probably his most improved pose from last year's Olympia to the Arnold. So it was a little bit surprising to see that from the back here, we didn't see the same as we saw in Samson, the roundness and the separation and the fullness with the shoulders and the arms. And then the back itself, he was actually a little bit soft. So we didn't see that separated, grainy, dense, hard look, which he's always harder from the front than he is from the back. But this time, we can notice a softness in this back double bicep pose. Go down into the lower body. Obviously, he was in shape, but his leg width and his hamstring detail definitely could have been better. We've seen it better before, and this was a pose where we saw that Hadi, I don't think, was at 100% of his best. So, very surprisingly to me, I ended up giving this pose to Samson. 4 poses to 0.
خب عزیزان، همونطور که خودتون شنیدید، امتیازدهی داوران واقعا یکم عجیب بود و اگر بخوایم بدون تعصب حرف بزنیم، واقعا هم سمسون هم هادی جفتشون عالی بودن، ولی توی بعضی از پوزها واقعا فکر نمی کنم که حق سمسون بوده باشه، چون در فیگورهای پشت که امتیازهاشو به سمسون دادن واقعا عجیب بود، چون سمسون نسبت به هادی عضلاتش در نمای پشت حجم کمتری داشت. گلوتس سمسون با گلوتس هادی حتی قابل مقایسه هم نیست، ولی با این وجود بازم این فیگور رو به سمسون دادن و در فیگورهای جلو هم دلیل برتری سمسون رو پاهای اون و حجم بی‌نظیر بدنش مطرح کردن و گفتن که پاهای هادی نسبت به آرنولد کلاسیک و مستر المپیای قبلی کوچکتر شده بود و حتی سینه های هادی رو هم همون سینه های معروف همیشگی نمیدونستن و بیشتر امتیازها رو به سمسون دادن. خب عزیزانم، این بود از ویدیوی امروز ما. حتما نظراتتون رو در مورد این ویدیو برامون کامنت کنید و مرسی که ویدیو ما رو لایک میکنید. در پایین این صفحه میتونید فیلم صحبت‌های شنیدنی هانی رامبود و جی کاتلر در مورد هادی چوپان رو ببینید که حسابی سر و صدا کرده.